on today's episode of Wounds, Wisdom, and the Word.
All right, so we're ready to go. So, okay, that's got to go. Boom.
Right? Look,
Oh yeah, we high definition up in here.
Wounds, wisdom, and the word. Wounds, wisdom, and the word.
Now here are your hosts, Jamie and Doug.
All right, guys, everybody, welcome to the Wounds, Wisdom, and the Word podcast. It's been a minute since we've been back with you. Got Jamie with us today, and also my lovely wife, Anetta.
Hello.
Hello. It's been a minute through the holidays and Snowmageddon 2026.
Icepocalypse in my area of the world.
I was like, can we trade 26 back in for another 25? Like, I'll take a 25. But we are ready today to continue on with our series about being stuck and getting unstuck. And Jamie's got our next couple items on her list here, and I'll let her take it from here.
Yeah, so I went back over my list this morning, and today we're going to be kind of covering. So last time we talked about 9 and 10. Well, today is going to be 6, 7, and 8, right? So
6, 7.
Oh, good grief! Don't even.
Sorry, smack my hand.
Well, I got a 13-year-old nephew, and that's enough. So anyway, so basically. So these are, I listed these as 3 separate things,
Right?
But they actually kind of tie in
Very
to
related.
one thing, right? They're very related. So those 3 things are rescuing others, that would be number 8, no self-worth, that would be number 7, and people-pleasing, which is number 6, right? So the interesting part about those 3 things is rescuing others and having a lack of self-worth is actually very, well, you might say symptomatic of people-pleasing, right?
Yeah.
In other words, it's things that people who people please do.
Right.
Okay. So I figure, people are probably thinking, well, one of a couple of questions. A, how do I become a people pleaser? B, am I a people pleaser? And C, how do I know if I am? Right? What are the, but all that to say, people pleasing it's actually pretty toxic, and it is very different from being servant-minded, right? Bible teaches us to be servant-minded, to do for others, to serve others. Especially, those who are of the household of faith. People-pleasing is not that.
Mm-hmm.
People-pleasing is actually rooted in chasing approval. Validation, right? Affirmation. It's not a, hey, I love you and I want to do this thing for you, right? Hey, I know you've been sick. I'm going to bring you a meal because I'm sure you don't feel like cooking for yourself and your family.
Yeah.
People pleasing is, I got to go do that. Because if I don't take them a meal, they are going to think blank about me.
Yeah.
They are going to assume blank about me, right? So it's actually
A selfish motivation.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Because it's actually about me. It's about how I feel. Not about how I am maybe helping that other person feel or what I'm doing for them.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but typically that's going to be the result of a generational trauma, kind of, because you learned that behavior somewhere down the line. The chaos could stop if I balanced all the plates and got a pat on the head and an attaboy. We were good for 5 minutes.
Absolutely. I mean, that's actually, when you think about causes, right? So you go back to the root of people-pleasing behavior. One of the biggest, and probably at the top of the list in terms of what I see from clients who fall into this category, is childhood conditioning,
Oh, yeah.
right? And these are people who have grown up in an environment where love feels conditional, right? And this is not necessarily parents who are overtly looking at their child going, if you don't do this for me, then I'm not going to love you. If you don't do this for me, then I'm not going to care for you. I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to, whatever. This is more like feeling like you need to earn your parents' love, right? If I take home my report card and I have all A's, but I have one B, and I am so excited to walk in that house and hand that report card to my mom or to my dad, what I really want from them is praise. I want them to look at me and tell me, you did a great job, right? And I might get that, but I also might get, well, why isn't that B and A?
Yeah, why isn't it good enough?
Yeah. Why is this less than the rest of what I see here? And surface level, that seems pretty innocent on the part of the parent. But that's not what the child hears.
Or feels.
And it's what they hear is, I'm not good enough. I didn't work hard enough. I didn't do enough for mom or dad to approve of me, to love me, right? So that's that idea that I have to earn that from them. They're not just freely giving me affirmation or validation or love. It's, I got to do something to get it, right? Yeah. And so the other thing that contributes to that in terms of childhood are parents or caregivers who are just kind of emotionally unavailable to a child, right? That child may come to mom or dad with an emotional need. And keep in mind, those can sometimes be disguised as other things, right? I may go to mom and dad and be like, can you help me tie my shoe? And they look at me and go, you know how to tie your shoe. Why are you asking for me to help you with that? You've been tying your shoes for 3 years.
Yeah.
That child does not need help tying that shoe. They didn't magically forget how to do it.
It's an icebreaker.
It's an icebreaker, but it's also a seeking behavior. And it's almost a test, right? That child in their little head, in their very simplistic way of processing things, because they're not emotionally mature yet, it's, if I ask mama to help me tie my shoe and she does it, it means she loves me. And as a parent, you hear that and you're like, that's crazy. I do all the rest of these things for my kids. I cook for them. I clean for them. I do their, I take them to school. I spend money on them. Like, I support them. We watch movies together. Why would my kid need affirmation from me just to tie their shoe? Because in that moment, they're needing something from you and they don't know how to ask for it, right? Children do not have the emotional intelligence or the emotional maturity to tell you exactly what they're feeling. Yeah. They're not going to walk in the kitchen and go, Mom, I'm feeling kind of lonely. Can you just give me a hug? Yeah. It's going to be, can you help me tie my shoe?
Yeah.
Right? So you take a child who seeks those things from mom or dad or caregiver in whatever circumstance, and if they're told no repeatedly, if they are pushed to the side, if they are rejected in some way, right? Go away, I'm cooking dinner. I can't get to that right now, right? Or I'm busy, I'm on the phone, I'm trying to work. Don't bother me with this right now is what they hear. But they also hear, you're not important enough to me for me to stop whatever it is that I'm doing and actually pay attention to you for 30 seconds, One of the things that I learned very early in my training, where I did my internship, was a place called the Papillon Center. At the time, they were open in Gallatin. They actually have an office up in Paducah, Kentucky, but they are, the big foundation for them was something called TBRI, trust-based relational intervention. TBRI was kind of born from adoptive, an effort to help adoptive families, right? There is already a huge disconnect there. And it doesn't matter if you've got a new set of parents and an infant that's days old that now is rendered to their care. There's still a huge disconnect there because there's no biological ties.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's something there.
There's something there. That is a built-in rejection, if you want to look at it that way, right? Ground zero kind of stuff. So TBRI teaches parents how to connect with their children. And by the way, these principles work wonders for even biological families. All that to say, they teach parents how to connect to their children on an emotional level, and also to just listen to what they're really saying and kind of peel back the layers on, well, what are they really asking me for right now, right? One of the things that TBRI teaches, and by the way, I utilize this in couples therapy a lot too, is instead of asking what's wrong, you ask, what do you need from me, right? So kiddo comes to mom asking to tie their shoe. Mom may bend down and tie the shoe while also looking at kiddo going, is everything okay? What do you need? Do you need something from me? Right? Or kiddo comes into the kitchen just completely out of sorts, crying, screaming, doing whatever. I think sometimes our first impulse is to comfort them and say, shh, right? Well, we're actually communicating to them, don't cry. It's not okay to cry, right? The better approach is hug them. What do you need? What's going on? What do you need from me right now? What happened, right? Not what's wrong, because what they hear is what's wrong with you. And how many times do adults ask themselves that question internally? That seed gets planted somewhere, right? Believe me, these are all things that I wish I had known very early on in my parenting journey. But anyway, back to, those practices, those very simple practices with your young children, keep them from growing up or feeling as if they have to earn your love, right? When they figure out that mom and dad respond when they need them to respond. And by the way, this is not about saying yes all the time either. It's actually not what it's about at all.
It's about them feeling seen.
There you go. It's about them feeling important enough for you to stop whatever it is that you're doing. And even if you turn to them and you say, yes, you can have some ice cream after dinner, right? Kiddo didn't hear no. And if you turned around and you made eye contact with them, they immediately felt seen. Versus, no, you can't have ice cream. Why are you even asking that? You know what the deal is. You know we don't do sweets before dinner. That has done nobody any good in that moment. But that's what we do. It's what everybody does, right? So, and I'll say this, it's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Everybody is going to have them. We're human, right? So, but like I said, just making some even small changes to how you interact with your children can really help them not go into the realm of, I got to earn mom and dad's love. I know I have it. And that's kind of where, that's some of the things that childhood looks like in terms of how it develops a people pleaser, right? Obvious one, we've talked about trauma before on this podcast. And, people pleasing is a trauma response, maybe even at its core. I need to keep myself safe And maybe the only way that I can keep myself safe is to feel like I am accepted by everybody. If everybody likes me, if everybody loves me, then I don't have to worry about anybody hurting me or harming me, right? So,
And then you wind up harming yourself
yes.
the whole entire time.
Because the interesting part is people pleasing is, you talk about trauma responses, that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. People pleasing is actually a form of fawning, right? Because fawn is a newer term. Not a lot of people are as familiar with that one.
Yeah.
It is different than freezing. It's getting small. It's right. Freezing is I don't respond at all. Or I'm almost immobilized by whatever is happening, and I'm not thinking, I'm not acting, I'm not doing anything, right?
Fawning is like becoming an emotional chameleon.
Yes.
What do you want? Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll just go and,
Yep. It's I'm going to get really, really small because I don't want you to see me, because I don't want you to attack me, right? The smaller I become in this situation and the more compliant that I may be to whoever is around me, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, now we're going to start kind of getting into attachment things, which definitely goes back to what I was talking about with childhood stuff. So attachment is a lens that we all do life through. It's like literally putting on a pair of glasses, right? All three of us are sitting at this table with glasses on. If we were to take them off and pass them around and we all try on each other's, mine are bifocals, right? So the top of my glasses are nothing but lens, just like looking through a window.
Yeah.
Down here, things are magnified because that's what I need. I need it when I read. I need it when I'm on my phone, right? So there may be some parts of my glasses that you two would be able to see out of, or you wouldn't, right? The point is, my glasses are my attachment lens. It's what developed for me in my childhood. There are 4 basic kinds of attachment. There's only one that is healthy, and that's a secure attachment, right? You have anxious, you have ambivalent, and then you have anxious ambivalent, or anxious avoidant, actually. And ambivalent, that one's debatable. People usually call that one avoidant, right? But it's about how you orient in relationships in your life, right? If I am securely attached as a child, then I'm kind of okay if my parents are gone. Like if they leave me at school, if they leave me in Sunday school, if they leave me with a friend to have a play date, I don't usually have a big meltdown because I am secure in the fact that mama's coming back to get me. I don't worry about it, right? If I'm insecurely attached, which is one of the other 3, I'm worried.
Alarm bells are ringing.
Yeah, they are. Because now I'm afraid I'm going to be abandoned. I'm afraid that she's not coming back for me. Or if she does come back for me, I'm going to act like I want her to, and then I'm going to be like, psh, just put me down, leave me alone. There's a very interesting study and a video out there, if anybody ever wanted to really dive into that, about like they observed mother and child in these 4 different scenarios. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Because you can watch that and then go to Walmart and be like,
Oh, that right there.
I see that right there. I see you. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, people pleasing is a lot of times about a fear of rejection or abandonment, right? Just that general not feeling or being accepted. It's fueled by low self-esteem and or shame, right? This feeling of unworthiness. unfortunately, so we are the authors of our own narrative in our head about what we believe about ourselves. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean that life circumstances doesn't influence that narrative.
Yeah.
100% it does. But we have this narrative, and then we go out into the world and we start looking for evidence.
Confirmation bias.
Yes. And what happens is we find that.
What had happened was.
What had happened was, because you find whatever it is that you're looking for.
Oh, yeah.
That is just truth, right?
If you got a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Sure does. And let's be honest, a hammer don't fix everything.
Mm-mm.
It ain't like duct tape, right?
I don't think duct tape fixes everything. I'm a zip tie man myself.
I don't know. Sometimes I prefer duct tape over zip ties, but because not.
We can still be friends. You still go to heaven even though you don't like a zip tie.
Oh, I didn't say I didn't like a zip tie. Didn't say that. I do like a good zip tie. Just said sometimes I feel like duct tape's a little more versatile. But, so yeah, I mean, you end up with this like reinforcement of the narrative because you're looking for reasons to say, oh, that person, look at how she's talking. She's not talking to me. She don't like me. Or, well, he didn't say anything to me today when he walked out of the building. That just tells me everything I already knew.
Yeah. Never mind the 75 people that said, good job, we loved it. That was a life-changing sermon.
Amen. Right? So, yeah, it's, I think probably the biggest point is it's not always tied to trauma, right? And understand, too, the experiences of a young child can be traumatic in their own way, right? Versus now you're looking at what happened to you as a child through adult eyes. Mm-hmm. You may have a very different perspective on what you experienced from your mom and dad. But that doesn't mean that your 5-year-old self or your 10-year-old self was not valid in how they felt and what they experienced.
Yeah. Well, the thing is it's a learned behavior thing, but it also, it very well served you in the moment.
Mm-hmm. It's a survival.
But a lot of this is just getting to the point of saying, okay, why do I do that? Kind of the self-reflection, self-examination, and getting to the point of, okay, I understand why I do this, but now does this still serve me? Mm-hmm. And if the answer to that's no, then, okay, well, now what?
Yeah.
What do I do about it? Do I choose to just stay? I feel like so many people are locked in a cell, except the only thing locking them is themselves. It's the whole deal with the elephant where when the baby elephant comes out and they're for the circus or whatever, they stake it to the ground and it pulls and it tugs and pulls and tugs and pulls and tugs and it can't get out. Well, in adulthood, this 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 pound elephant now has a piece of rope tied around his leg and it's not tied to anything.
Yep. And he'll stay put.
Because he just learned that it doesn't do any good. Mm-hmm. And the reality is he's a 5,000 pound elephant and he could tear the whole place down if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But
he
didn't know that.
And it's like, the living in this pattern, living in the place of people pleasing, it's going to take a toll on you, right? It's quite obviously it's going to affect your emotional health overall, right? But a lot of times what happens is you are just completely emotionally burnt out. You're spent. You begin to feel resentful when people ask you for things because guess what? You can't say.
No. And if the boundary book, the only thing I remember from it is you can never ever say no to anybody. You can't ever say yes to yourself.
There you go. That is probably my favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes from that book, right? Because when you are so busy saying yes to other people because you're ultimately chasing something, again, remember some selfish motives going on here, you're not really loving yourself. It's the opposite. It's I'm going to completely spend myself in an effort to get what I'm seeking, all because I can't give it to myself.
But the whole time, the resentment is building, and you really resent the other person.
Yeah.
But like, it's not their fault they asked. I mean, maybe they shouldn't ask. I mean, I'm not saying they're not at fault, but like, a lot of times people figure out that you'll always say yes, and guess what they'll do?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll ask Travis, or I'll ask Bobby or Billy, or I'll ask whoever, and they'll do it.
Yep.
And you're like, okay.
Because at the end of the day,
Yeah, I mean, who do you resent? Who should you be resenting?
should be self.
Yourself.
Yeah, but you don't.
Yeah.
So you also end up with, just an even lower sense of self or self-esteem. You deal with, struggles like anxiety and depression because you're caught in this very nasty and toxic cycle of I don't love myself, I need other people to love me, but now I'm not getting what I'm seeking, and so now I don't love myself, and, you're off to the ball game. This will also, I would say, almost 100% of the time. But in therapy, we don't talk in absolutes. So I'll say 99.7% of the time, it will land you in unhealthy relationships.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're talking about romantic, friend, colleague, coworker, employer, you will end up in an unhealthy, imbalanced relationship because you live in this pattern.
Even like almost subconsciously, you seek it out.
Absolutely, you do. Well, it's what you know. It's all
what feels normal.
It feels normal, right? Goes back to being stuck in the mud, right? And obviously there are physical side effects as well, because your physical body feels the stress, right? You a lot of times can't sleep very well. You're restless. You don't. You may even suffer with focus or ability to complete task. Like it just messes with your overall health, but your physical health is not excluded either.
Yeah. There's only so much cortisol you can take.
Yeah.
And adrenaline and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and like I say, what it's going to take to fix it for each individual is probably different, but it's almost like getting to the aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
Luke 15, he's sitting in the hog lot and he's starving, and he's looking at this slop that he's supposed to feed the pigs, and he's thinking, gosh, I'm so hungry I would eat that. And, the Bible says he came to himself, which I think is kind of the moment that we're talking about,
Yeah.
Somebody having. It's like, why am I doing this? And that's not an easy moment to come to. I'm not saying it is. I mean, it's...
No, but it's actually probably the first thing. I mean, I actually had a client in my office yesterday talking to me about this, a young client. She's 19, right? And she's like, I know I do this. And I know that I've done it my whole life. And we discussed a lot of family history that kind of helped her understand, that childhood stuff, how she got there. But before session ended, she's like, what can I do what can I just start doing? Like, what are the first things, right? Self-reflection, self-insight, right? In other words, even recognizing the fear, because that's kind of what we're talking about. This is a fear-based thing. I'm afraid people don't like me. I'm afraid people are going to reject me. I'm afraid I'm going to be alone. I'm afraid people are going to abandon me. Just recognizing the fear and having the ability to question those internal feelings, right? And I promise everybody listening and those of us sitting at this table have said yes to something before and immediately regret saying yes. You immediately have this thought of, oh my gosh, why did I agree to do that? We've all done it. Mm-hmm. The difference is that some people do it all the time.
Can't
right?
stop.
Or more often than not. They can't stop it, right?
Yeah.
So just recognizing that.
I mean, it's very much an addiction almost.
Almost. It's real close.
Yeah.
Because you're still chasing something.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what a lot of addicted people might tell you they're doing as well, or used to do, right? If you're talking they're in recovery. Second thing is finding little ways to say no, right? Like practicing it. If no is a word that you have struggled to use with people or sometimes even yourself, start doing that. Like, somebody invites you to do, hey, let's go grab coffee. And you got so many other things to do. And oh, by the way, you're just not really in the mood. Okay? And you just...
I don't want no coffee.
Right? No coffee for you. But anyway, you stand there and you're
Not
like...
Anetta. She always likes coffee.
Well, honestly, that wouldn't be me either. I'd probably be like, I don't care what I got to do. Yeah, we're going to get coffee. But anyway.
Somebody say Starbucks.
Starbucks, scooters. I'm not partial. I don't discriminate. Coffee is coffee. But especially if
I tried a new one in White House a couple weeks ago, and
Is
was
it Seven Brew?
amazing.
Or is it Fellowship Coffee?
Fellowship. It was Fellowship.
Oh, girl, they have
They have couches. I was very impressed.
They have it's a something with rose in it. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Okay, so anyway, squirrel. Look, coffee, not squirrel, coffee. But anyway, and by the way, what's in my Stanley is not coffee. It's totally water. I'm being responsible this morning, but.
So there's about to be so many good jokes right there. It's not coffee.
It's not coffee. So, but yeah, just practicing saying no. Like if you really aren't in the mood to go get that cup of coffee, even if they are wanting to go to Fellowship and get the one with the rose in it, you say, you know what, I appreciate the invitation, but I think I'm going to pass today.
And I would love to be able to do that, but.
Yeah. And thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah.
I hope we can I hope you'll invite me again, or man, I would love for us to connect at another time, right?
What about tomorrow? Or just, whatever. But
Well, you don't want to leave that person feeling rejected because ultimately you did feel good about getting invited and you want that, right? You want that connection. But it's okay if you don't want that connection in that moment.
Right, because the truth is, if you had called them, and let's say their house is on fire. Hey, you want to go get some coffee?
Right?
Can't go get coffee.
Not right now. Let me get back to you on that. Got to literally go put out some fire.
I'll see. Burn.
So, and then of course, as you're not going to be surprised to hear me say this, but seek therapy, right? End up in an office with somebody that can talk to you about what's going on and that you can open up and express how you're feeling about all of it, That's not going to look at you and go, that sounds like a you problem. I might say that to you. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't say that. But I've thought it. I've thought it. Confessions of a therapist. But
what your counselor really wants to say.
Oh, I could write a book.
Stop it now.
It would actually probably be a bestseller because people would laugh. Especially if I could get some of my colleagues to be honest as well. It'd probably be a pretty good book. But anyway, entertaining at the very least. But no, it's, being able to help people learn what they're doing, not only learn what they're doing, but why they're doing it, and find solutions.
Yeah.
That client that I mentioned from yesterday, I loved that was her last question before she left my office. What can I do about this? I don't want to be this. I don't, and she's a very mature, I would say, 19-year-old, at this place in her life where she wants to be looking for her forever relationship, Yeah. She's a person of faith and she knows what she wants in a husband someday. But she's like, I'm not finding the right thing.
Right.
That has to mean that I am looking for the wrong thing.
Right.
And I need to know why, And
well, a lot of it is, it's almost like, you tie your shoes and you don't even realize you tie it because your brain stores this function. And kind of the first step of breaking that cycle is like, hey, wait a minute, the program's running again. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yep. Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
It's deprogramming, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't.
You didn't get that way overnight.
Nope. But, you know, the other thing is, if you're maybe not ready to go to therapy, or you think that you aren't at that place to where you need that, that's cool, right? I have some people who go, everybody needs to go to therapy. And then I have other people go, I don't need therapy. I'm like, that's great. I love that for you.
Yeah.
You know? But setting boundaries, learning what boundaries really are. You know, people hear that word and they recoil, or they're like, ooh, that feels gross. No. There are layers to boundaries. There's rigid boundaries. There's diffuse boundaries. There's being flexible with your boundaries. There's understanding that boundaries are as much about keeping you together and less about keeping other people out. Mm-hmm. That's what people think. Like, that's their immediate thought. Oh, if I put up a boundary, it means I can't have anything. No. We're not talking about building a brick wall, okay? We're talking about a friendly little horse fence that you can see your neighbor over, and you can see the world around you, but that fence keeps your animals from running away. It's protecting them from the dangers that lie beyond that boundary.
Yeah.
It works the same for us when we talk about personal boundaries.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, boundaries is a totally biblical concept.
Yeah.
Totally biblical. So.
Yeah, the scene where Jesus has been up on the mountain praying, and it comes down. It's like, everybody's been looking for you. Da-da-da-da-da. He's like, we're going to the next town. Mm-hmm. What? You got an awesome thing going here. You're a rock star.
Nope. We're out.
We're going.
I will tell you, I think I've mentioned, The Chosen before. Believe me, I'm fully aware that is a dramatized show, right? But I will also tell you, there's a lot that is right about that show. And I think one of my biggest takeaways from it is seeing Jesus be human and being, taking care of himself.
The way they did the Garden of Gethsemane.
Mm-hmm. Real close to how I have always pictured it in my mind when I read that, when I read those scriptures. But him looking at these people who absolutely adore him and need him and love him and going, I got to go be by myself. I need to go spend time with my Father. I need to go replenish me, right? Replenish me. I need to go replenish me so that I can come back and give more to you and everybody else.
He didn't go pray that prayer to get an answer. Because he knew what the answer was going to be.
He knew it.
And, you imagine what it'd be like to be the Father sitting there listening to that, and you can't save him.
Mm-mm. No, and I thought that's one of the things about that scene in The Chosen when Joseph, his earthly father, comes to him. Watching that the first time gave me chills, because to me, that was almost like God sending comfort to him. Now, I know that's not scriptural. I know that we don't read that happened, right? That's one of those.
But there's a ton of things going through his mind, flashbacks and memories.
Absolutely.
And, when he comes out and looks at them, he's got these 3 grown men, and all of a sudden they're little boys.
Yep.
And, he, basically in that moment is saying, I see you for who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I think that's a great representation, too, of Jesus being able to recognize what they're capable of giving him. He, being who he was, could have possibly had some expectations of those men and other people that he was around that he had to understand they couldn't give that. They couldn't be that. I mean, we have to do that in our lives too. It hurts and it isn't always fun, but sometimes that's how we negotiate relationships, is being able to look at somebody and go, you can't give this to me. You can't. It's not because you don't want to. It's not because you don't love me enough. You're just not equipped. And then I have a choice to renegotiate my expectations of that person and what I need from them, or to walk away because I'm worth more than what you're willing to give me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's good to be back. It's been too long.
Well, I will say I kind of like the in-person thing better. I mean, the computer's great. The computer is highly convenient, and considering the geographical distance between us, it's good to keep things rolling. But I am always looking at that thing going, I look completely stupid right now. And I probably do today. That's cool. I hadn't thought about it because I can't see myself.
Well, it's like that first episode
like I'm less
we did.
concerned about that.
And I'm pointing at Jamie the whole time, and then when it comes out, it's like I'm pointing the wrong way, and I'm like, you idiot.
I learned not to point because I didn't know where you were going to be.
Well, I figured out it's opposite. Anyway, just like it's like preaching to a laptop. During COVID, it's just like. The first Sunday we sat down, and I had to put a Post-it note beside the camera with a big arrow, look here, dummy. Quit looking at yourself. Quit looking over here. Look at the little. Can you see me?
I have that time when we did the episode on the brain, and I had the brain model, and I was nowhere near pointing where I was supposed to be pointing. And I'm like, I should give up. We're just going to tap on the edge of it, and pretend like I know what to do. So.
It's up in there somewhere.
Yeah.
She didn't have much.
It's in this general vicinity. It's over here.
It's somewhere between this ear and that ear.
It's in the middle. It's in the middle.
All right. Well, you got anything else?
No, I think that's about it. I think maybe final thoughts are, if you are this person, if you have heard some of the things we've talked about today and you're like, oh, that's me, you're not alone. You're not alone. A lot of people do it for a lot of different reasons. And it doesn't say anything about you, would probably be the other thing I want to kind of emphasize. It doesn't say that you're a bad person. It doesn't say that you're inadequate. It doesn't say anything except that you're probably real tired and burnout and struggling yourself.
Because it's the result of.
Absolutely.
It worked.
Yep.
You do it because it worked.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a survival. A lot of times this is born out of a need to survive in your childhood home. And that's all well and good. We do what we need to sometimes. But now as a grown-up.
You're not in that environment anymore.
Yeah. You're not bound by those same expectations and requirements. And, learning that can be freeing as well.
Yeah. All right, Miss Anetta, you got anything? I just want some more coffee.
She was here to be the pretty face. That's what her job was today.
Well, that and it's 3 inches of ice outside, and we're all here anyways.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, you can't hardly walk across the parking lot, but here we are.
No, I'm going to have fun getting my car out here later.
Yeah, just more throttle. That's the answer to everything in life. More throttle.
Yeah.
Do it for Dale.
Do it for Dale.
I may or may not, yeah. Been some donuts in the parking lot.
I probably could do that now because my truck is rear-wheel drive. My other one wasn't. It was front-wheel drive, and you couldn't donut anything in that.
There's a story, and I believe it to be true, but there's a local gentleman here, and they were doing donuts in the church parking lot one day, and the police rolled in the parking lot and walked over the vehicle, knocked on the door, and said, "Sir, what do you think? What do you think the church would think about you doing donuts in their parking lot. And he looked at the officer and he said, well, officer, right there's their preacher. Why don't you ask him? No, that was not me.
It was
another previous, I can name names, but I will not.
Yeah.
But, and the cop just kind of like, and got in the turnaround, walked off.
I mean, props to him for protecting what he thought he needed to protect. But turns out, nah, didn't need it at all.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thank you. See you in the next episode.
I don't know where I'm waving, but holla.
Bye. All right. See y'all.